Hi there, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm looking at the Republic XF-91 Thunderceptor in 1/48 scale from Lindberg. This kit dates from 1974, although the moulds used to make it date from 1955. The kit was sent to me by Russell Taylor, so many thanks for this, Russell. If you enjoy the video, please make sure to let YouTube know by giving it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button, by making sure you've subscribed, and by hitting the notification bell. None of these will cost you a penny, but they all help with the channel analytics. So let's make a start then by looking at the box the kit comes in. So here is the box of the Republic XF-91 Thunderceptor from Lindberg. It's actually a lovely piece of box art for two. Firstly, here it gives you a nice sort of look of, oh, it's really new, and there's a bit here, and there's the pilot looking over the side, gives you a feel for the size of the aircraft, which is good. It shows you it's got rockets, which is all very exciting when you're younger. But then also it's got one here turning away, so you can see the rather unique sort of lozenge wing to this flame at the back is a little bit, not quite how it would have been, but it shows it had reheat, I guess. So it's actually not a bad bit of box art, ultimately. Republic XF-91 on the side. It was an experimental aircraft. It really wasn't all that good after a while. Says here instructions are in English, German, French and Spanish in their own languages. And the kit contains clear canopy, wing tanks and a pilot and landing gear parts, which presumably means that a lot of kits in those days didn't have these things, otherwise they wouldn't make such a big deal about it. So let's have a look and see what we get inside the box. This is a top opening box. Things may have moved since it was first purchased, of course, because this is quite an old kit. There's some instructions, there's some decals, there's something else here about the Thunderceptor. Oh, there's alternate instructions in other languages. This is not a contemporary plastic bag, I suspect, and then lots of silver plastic parts to put together. Why don't we have a look at all these in a bit? So here are the plastic parts. A lot of them have come off the frame, so just arranged them roughly. I'm not too bothered about where they are. I just know that we do have all the parts, and that's the important thing. So fuselage and fin, two halves. The wings, top and bottom halves of each wing. The wings are pre-drilled for the stores and things like that. There's the horizontal stabilizer there. There are these large fuel tanks. A lot of American jets, or a lot of jets in general, in those days used large external fuel tanks because they were so thirsty on fuel. Other than that, you've got some rockets here. You've got the pilot and his seat. You've got the stores pylons, well, mainly for the tanks, to be perfectly honest with you. There's this nose probe thing that goes into the front. There's the undercarriage altogether here. There's a little plate that goes onto the front of the stand that is supplied, which is rather lovely. In fact, I think I'll use that stand. And the little plate here, Republic XF-91 Thunderceptor, it sits on there. So, yeah, look, a fairly basic kit, it has to be said. There's not that many parts to it. The canopy is indeed clear. Single piece will need some masking up. The pilot's not the greatest figure, as we'll see in a little minute. But otherwise, it's all there, and that's the important thing. All the parts appear, at least, to be where they should be. The plastic looks okay, very silver and quite thickly moulded, with some significant mould residues at the edges that will need to come off. The panel lines and all the rivet details are raised. I really don't see a plane of this kind having dome rivets all over the place, but that's the moulding technology of the age that causes it. The fuselage would have been created in wood, then a pantograph used to transfer the shape to the moulds, and finally the rivets and panel lines scribed in afterwards. But it's a kit very much of its time, so I'm just going to go with it as it is. I'm especially glad they didn't scribe in the decal locations. Often you'll see kits with the outline of the stars and bars or the serial numbers in raised plastic, and that's never very helpful, but Lindberg managed to avoid that. The interior is basic, there's no jet pipe or indeed inlet pipe. Again, I'm not going to do anything about it. With the wings, it's a very similar story. Lots of rivets and very prominent panel lines and access panels. The underside of the wing parts are pre-drilled with lots of holes, some for the rockets, others for the fuel tanks, and a chunky square hole for the undercarriage leg. Notice how far out the outer gear does go. The hinge for the door is right out near the wingtip. Very odd indeed. The one real issue I have here is the pilot figure. It doesn't look too bad from the side, but from the front you can see he's moulded about half the width of an actual human figure. So he's the one bit I'm not going to use from this set. With the decals, I'll just get close in from the start. They actually look not too bad, certainly for their age. They're reasonably sharply printed and the carrier film isn't too discoloured. A dose of UV light and they should be okay to use. The colours are okay, if slightly lighter than I would expect, and the registration of the red is a touch out of kilter, but they will be okay once they're on the model itself, I'm sure. The instructions are, well, fairly basic, let's be honest. They tell you what to do here, and then there's an exploded diagram here, not really much help other than to show you what sort of vaguely goes where, outer doors and inner doors and whatever, different struts for the undercarriage, nose spear, make it always sound so aggressive, haven't they? Different halves of the fuselage, whatever. All these different bits and pieces are there, but it's not really that helpful telling you how to put it all together. But, you know, it's not that complex a kit, so should be able to manage this. On the other side is some information on it here. Flew for the first time in 1949. How about that? It's got a combined rocket and turbojet unit, which is why it had like the rocket streak out the back on the box art. That's fairly unconvincing. And new catalogue available, so 35 cents in coin to Lindberg Products Inc. in Skokie, Illinois. How about that? 35 cents in coin through the post. Or they wouldn't like that these days. You have to cut the decals to fit the underside if you're going to have the doors open, because the USAF bit under here gets cut open by the different bits of the wheel cover, so you need to notice how far out the wheel door goes on this, because it's got this huge strange wing shape. Decals are very straightforward. Paint is very straightforward. Scale 1/4 inch to 1 foot, or 1/48, as we now call it. You know, it's basic, but there aren't that many kits of this aircraft in existence. It says there the inverse taper. Also, a variable instance wing for a start, so you could put a higher angle of attack for takeoff, and an inverse taper, reduced wingtip stalling at slow speeds. Okay, well there we go then. So very, very strange thing, but it's going to be interesting to build, I think. It's not going to take long to build, is it? Let's be honest. You do get in here instructions in German here, and in French here, and in Spanish here. These are just exactly the same as these instructions here, so you know you're not losing out too much by going with other languages. There we go. Very, very silver plastic and minimal interior, but not a terrible representation of a very strange aircraft design. You could spend a lot of time making interiors for the inlets and such, but I think I'll just enjoy it how it was originally produced. I think it'll be fun to make. Now, if you've enjoyed the video, please do remember, hit the like button, subscribe, and ding that notification bell. Thank you so very much for watching today, and goodbye.